There are rumours circulating that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are officially divorcing. Now, you've had my thoughts on that from a previous video, but now I have brought my friend in, DC lawyer John Witherspoon, right here to provide his legal perspective and his legal opinion on this. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we, with my good friend, DC lawyer John Witherspoon. And let's start off with, as far as I'm concerned, the tweet that kicked all of this off, John. So this is from Barrister Law USA, HRH, the Royal Commentator USA. And they said, I just got notice Prince Harry filed for divorce. It's official. Now, these rumours perpetuated further with at Tribes Britannia, Prince and Princess of Wales, saying that the Montecito Journal, which is a local Montecito newspaper, is reporting that Harry and Meghan have gone their separate ways. Now, I'm very aware of the existence of the Montecito Journal, and so I went onto their website and I found the article in question here. And it's from their series Grapevine by one of their reporters, Richard Minyard, and titled Harry on Hair. Overall, this article explains Prince Harry and his solo outing at the Well Child Awards in London. He then goes on to describe Meghan's solo outing of herself with Girls Inc. But here, right at the end, he then concludes it was a second public appearance without Harry since her visit to Children's Hospital Los Angeles on October the 5th. As British royal experts continue to speculate, the Riven Rock twosome are going their separate ways as they live increasingly separate lives. Now, in my video, and guys, I'll link it in the description bar below and it'll be at the end as well, I go on to essentially come to the conclusion that the local Montecito newspaper hasn't outed anything. All they're essentially doing is just quoting other people's opinions, one of which is that they're going their separate ways and they're living increasingly separate lives. Not that that's the opinion of the Montecito newspaper or the journalists themselves. And so you look at all of this, John. You then look at the Vintage Read Show and her tweet. Now, if you're not subscribed to on YouTube, get it done now, otherwise you're living under a rock, guys. And I actually agree with this hot take. And so I'm wondering what your hot take is on this, John. So the Vintage Read Show says that Harry and Meghan are separated, however, not officially. It won't be announced the divorce until the deal has been struck, dollars and assets and all that. I do not believe they are still together, but always prepared to be wrong. As am I as well. If further evidence comes in that is to change my opinion, then my opinion will be changed. It's as simple as that. So quickly going through all that and giving you a bit of a rundown, John, what the hell do you think is going on here? Do you think they are officially divorcing? Do you think they've officially separated? Do you think these rumours are all rubbish? I mean, what's your take on all this?
Well, Steph, thanks for the opportunity to weigh in on this. I have thought for a long time that they certainly do not look like a very happy married couple. And a lot of YouTubers have commented on this because they just don't seem to enjoy each other's company very much. I think it's important in this context to understand, and I'm not a California lawyer, but I did look briefly, understand the way that divorce works in California. We have 50 plus states and jurisdictions in the United States. A lot of them have different rules. For instance, where I am here in the state of Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C., there needs to be a mandatory separation period with no physical contact or sexual contact between between spouses before you can file for divorce, because you have to certify that that has been the state of affairs, that you've been separated for a set period of time. And a lot of states are that way, and it varies from state to state. In California, to the best of my knowledge, the way it works is that you can file divorce papers at any time without having to certify a previous period of separation or without having to get into your sexual contact with your spouse, any of that type of thing. However, once you have filed for divorce in California, you have to wait, I believe, 6 months before a family law judge will make a ruling on the case. Now, Steph, I think your point about them potentially getting their ducks in order with their finances and division of property and all of that type of thing could very well be correct. I will say I did go into the court database in Santa Barbara County, which is where Montecito is located, and I did not see anything related to a case having been filed under one of their names. Now, that brings up a whole other issue. Nobody really knows what names they're using. This was an issue in Harry's visa case when the State Department came back and said, gosh, we're having trouble finding the guy's records because he goes by so many different last names that it could be filed any number of different places. The same is true of the court records in Santa Barbara County. Well, and in the family law records, she could be, filing documents under Markle. She could be filing them under Sussex. She could be filing them under Meghan. She could be filing them under Rachel. And his naming situation is even more complicated than that. So it's not entirely beyond the realm of possibility that there has been a divorce uh, case that has been filed with the clerk in Santa Barbara County, but we just really don't know. It's also possible they could have filed it someplace else in California in a different court. So a lot of different possibilities at this point, and no real way of knowing. There are some outlets out in California that are very, very good at digging up this type of information. I suspect that we will hear from one or more of them at some point if there is actually documentation that is located within the California courts. But until then, we'll really just have to wait. And I don't think we've been given sufficient information at this point to say one way or the other, yes, they are getting a divorce, or no, they're not.
And so the way I see it is that when, because I think it's only a matter of time, okay? It's not if, but when they actually divorce. I think that they are going to go down the route of what allegedly J-Lo and Ben Affleck tried to do, which is, separate their assets, get all the agreements in place first, including custody of the children and whatnot, before they actually make the divorce official. The second thing I think would happen is something that I've heard a lot of my YouTube friends in the LawTube community say, which is that most likely if Meghan or Harry are to push the divorce button, or when they do, let's say, that it most likely will be in Santa Barbara because that's where they live. That's their nearest court. It would make sense. And it is, let's say, customary for in the US, it seems that whoever is filing for divorce, they file for divorce at essentially their local courthouse as to where the two live in the first place. Does that all make sense? Do you have anything to add to that? Do you agree, disagree?
I do agree. There's no real advantage to them if they go through with this. There would be no advantage to them really trying to find some other place to do it in California. As you pointed out, they're both residents of Montecito in Santa Barbara County. The California courts are well versed in protecting people as they try to come and go into the courthouse. To keep them away from the paparazzi and so forth, assuming they want to be kept away from the paparazzi. So there's no real advantage to them to try and go somewhere else and conduct this business if in fact they want to do it. One thing I'll just mention since you brought it up, Steph, as far as the children are concerned, this is a tragic potential situation for the kids. I strongly suspect that a judge would say, as is typically the case in a family law proceeding, really anywhere in the United States, the paramount interest is the best interest of the child. It does not necessarily come down to, oh, well, the mother is a better parent, the father is a better parent, so we're going to make a ruling in one direction or the other, unless there's obviously some evidence. If one of the parents, let's say, has a substance abuse problem, which actually could become relevant in this particular case, given some other topics that we've talked about with what Harry's been through in Spare and his visa and all that stuff. However, I strongly suspect that the judge would probably take pains to make sure that the children have access to both of their parents. The interesting angle comes up if Harry would go back to the UK. I have a friend who is living, he's actually an American, he's living in the UK, but he has a child with a US citizen. And in this particular case, this is several years ago, the child had to fly back and forth as an unaccompanied minor as a teenager, back and forth between the UK and the United States. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that Harry's kids and Meghan's kids would end up spending some of their time in California and some of their time in the UK, assuming Harry went back to the UK. Obviously, at the age they are right now, they would not be flying back and forth from Los Angeles to London as unaccompanied minors. But again, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that they would start to spend some time in Los Angeles, in California, in Santa Barbara, and some time in the UK. It would just depend, again, as I said, on what the judge feels is in the best interest of the children.
But at the moment, going around full circle with all these rumours coming about that, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are officially divorcing, I do believe that, yes, they have officially separated and they're living separate lives. But to our knowledge and to our research and the access that we've got, respectfully, we can't find any evidence at the moment that they are officially divorcing. Would you agree with
Correct.
that?
Yes, I would. We'll know it when paperwork is filed in a court somewhere in California. I have no doubt that we'll know about it very quickly, and that we'll see some of the documents, and that'll be really the time for everybody to sit up and take notice of the fact that there's likely to be a change in their marital status. As I said, there's no requirement that they have a trial separation before they file for divorce. They could waltz in there at any given time and submit the paperwork to the court clerk. But then there would be a 6-month period before a judge would take up the case and sit down with both sides and try and iron things out. But you're right. We don't have any definitive proof at this time. It's all conjecture. It's all speculation. But if and when the paperwork is filed, I have no doubt that we'll see it very quickly.
Well, guys, with that being said, if you appreciated what John's been saying during this video, and of course you did, then make sure if you do have an Instagram account that you are following him on Instagram, Witherspoon DC. It is the only place that you're able to ask him any questions that you may have when it comes to, what he talks about on this channel or other channels that he goes on to, such as my big brothers, Andy's Popcorn Planet and Popcorn Palace. Please be aware, I may not be able to answer all your questions, but like I said, it is the way to contact him if you do. Also, as well, if you appreciate this video and you want more, and of course there's going to be more, then do make sure you subscribe to join our alternate tribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Just to make you aware, guys, we are actually suffering from a YouTube purge at the moment. What does that mean? Well, YouTube have a knack from time to time to unsubscribe you from channels without your knowledge and without your permission. So please do make sure that you are still subscribed to this channel. And for those that are not, please consider subscribing today so you can turn around to YouTube and be like, not today, Satan. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.